Hey, and we're back. Digital Trends Live, DT Daily Live, coming to you from New York, of course. Thanks for the shout out there. It's great to see you all. I have for you the most interesting person you're going to hear from all week, all month. Dare I say it, I think this is the most interesting person you're going to hear from all year. I'm talking with Julie Rieger, whose name I pronounced incorrectly before. I apologize.
It's all right.
Julie Rieger is the president, chief data strategist, and head of media at 20th Century Fox, where she's worked on films like Avatar, Deadpool, The Fault in Our Stars, The Book Thief, you know, some small things, a couple of small movies, which I would love to grill you about. And then we also have the most interesting book you're going to read all year, which she's just finished writing as well. Julie, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure to talk to you. I've been looking forward to this all week, to be honest.
Well, I love the fact that I'm the first chick you've had on your show. So, like, that's a feather in my cap.
This is true. And a shout out. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, small town gal from Oklahoma.
Yes.
Makes it big in Hollywood.
Big enough.
Big enough. Can you tell me a little bit about your history?
Big enough.
How'd you get here?
I did. I grew up in a little crappy town. I say crappy because it was small. I hope nobody from there is watching and I called it crappy. A small town in Oklahoma, and I played golf my whole childhood and had a golf scholarship to college. And if anybody's asking, the answer is yes, I am a lesbian, because usually that comes after the golf.
Golf and lesbian go side.
They do, and
had no
softball.
idea.
Yeah,
Softball I would
yeah,
have gotten, but
it
golf
happens.
I would not have gotten.
Yeah, and then I made my way to California.
And they let you into Hollywood in spite of being a golfer and being a lesbian?
I think it's the land of misfit toys. So I was just another misfit toy on their island.
What's it like working on all of these giant movies? Do you meet all these giant superstars and talk to these giant directors?
Of course, of course.
I'm kind of in awe.
A few years ago when we released the first Deadpool, Ryan came into the office and thanked the whole team. And he took like a selfie with the team, and it's me in front. That was my first little brush with fame.
That's
I was
great.
on Ryan's Instagram being the first person. Such a bad hair day, but it was a good day outside of that.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's been this crazy Me Too movement that's sort of swallowed up a lot of our culture, and especially Hollywood. And as a lesbian in Hollywood, I was wondering, I thought you might have some interesting perspective on what's been going on.
You know, it's a really great question. It's one no one's asked me yet. And I think that it doesn't even matter if you're a lesbian or not a lesbian. Being a woman, we face this, and we face it our whole lives. You know, we're the ones who were raised and told to be careful about where you go at night. My mother was like, never go out past 10 o'clock because that's when the crazies are out. She was right, by the way. And, you know, we just did the movie The Hate You Give and learned that every child in an African-American family is taught to put their hands on the dash when they're pulled over by the cops. And they practice that. As a woman, you know, we are taught things as well. So it's only being talked about now. It's been happening forever. It's happened to me multiple times, never by anybody in Hollywood, by the way. It's happened to every woman I know. Mm-hmm. And, you know, one of the reasons that I thought it was so important to actually write this book is so many women actually have the tendency to believe in the more spiritual side of life. And
More than men.
More than men. And I think it's because we have to believe that there's more out there for us to harness.
In order to get through the day-to-day.
In order to get through. Otherwise, I think we'd be off on the rooftops jumping off because we're number two. You know, we just are. We don't run the world. We don't have the same physical muscularity, all of those things. And once you can harness that, I think you have, you know, you believe you have other powers that can kind of make us more equal with you.
Sure. Well, let's talk about it because you're
Okay.
talking spirituality. The Ghost Photographer, a brand new book by Julie, delving into the spiritual side of life, which, again, the most fascinating person you're going to hear from. So,
the puzzle pieces don't fit. I understand that. And the puzzle pieces are, here I am in a nerd job, right? Not many people have the title of
data
chief
strategist.
Data strategist, exactly. And my world has been ruled by numbers for so long. And then it's the woo-woo. And you're like, wait, that doesn't fit.
Well, all of us
so
in
what
life are
are
these
you?
weird amalgams. We're all
Right?
these puzzle
It's like,
pieces.
so what are you? And, you know, this book, I think more than anything, is, you know, a rallying cry to people to know that they can be more than one thing.
What started you down the path of spirituality?
You know, I lost my mom almost 8 years ago, and it was devastating. And then 5 months after that, one of our best friends was killed in a car accident.
Oh,
and so so we're in tremendous grief. And soon thereafter, started meeting people who were psychics, and then started seeing ghosts and photographs, and started actually harnessing my own psychic abilities, where I can see and hear and feel messages and folks from the other side.
So you've communicated. I read a passage in here where you're communicating with your mother.
Of course, yes. Doesn't everybody? No, yes.
I've long wanted to talk to my father. Passed away when I was a child, and it'd be great to talk to him. What's that like? What's it like talking to the other side?
You know, it is peaceful. I think because I was skeptic, so you can imagine, right?
I can imagine you deal with a lot of that on a daily basis.
Right. Well, but it's like again, my universe is ruled by numbers, and so of course I was skeptical about all of this. And when it first started, and I first started seeing the ghosts and photographs, what started to happen is that I actually felt at peace for the first time in a really long time. And I think that was kind of the magic of all of it was the peacefulness that it can bring. And all the other pieces feel like I'm in on a secret. And that part's kind of fun. It's like being able to communicate, understanding, seeing other folks, loved ones that have passed on.
So why photography?
Oh, why did I call it? In Hollywood, as you know, you've worked.
I've been near it.
You've been near. You've been adjacent.
I've enjoyed its fruits.
You've been adjacent to it. Storytelling is it has like different parts, and so the ghost photography was what we call the inciting incident. So that's actually what happened when everything turned for me. And why for me was it photography? I have a feeling, because I was a skeptic, that photography is proof of something. I had someone that said, well, how do you know it's true? And I'm like, have you ever been to Iceland? And they're like, no. And I said, well, how do you know it's there? So, well, I've seen pictures, and I'm like, right. You've seen pictures. So it was probably that way for somebody like me to be okay with it.
Intriguing.
And so you probably, by the way, I know, I have a feeling you have a lot of guys that watch your show, right?
A decent number.
Here's my thing to you guys who thinks all this stuff is mumbo jumbo. I suggest you pick up a copy. If not for yourself, but for your mom, she'll love it. Moms love it because it's a love letter from a daughter to a mother.
I only got it earlier this week. I've just started it, and I'm already loving it. I'm a big book reader myself, so I'm intrigued to see where it goes.